Update 8.3 was released, and its main features is Chinese tanks. Can't decide whether to research them or not? Our review of two Chinese light tanks, WZ-131 and WZ-132, may be of use for you. In their branch, these are Tier 7 and 8 vehicles. However, they differ considerably from foreign tanks of the same tier. The AMX-1375, AMX-1390, and T-71 have a drum loader, which is absent from the WZ-131 and WZ-132. That is why you need to use different battle tactics with Chinese light tanks. The vehicles are very much alike, therefore all tactical options listed below shall apply to both of them. First of all, let us remind you of battle principles for French and American light tanks. Provide active or passive scouting, trying to get to enemy rears to empty the drum and get away. This strategy can't be used with Chinese vehicles. Therefore, we have to act as medium tanks and use our advantages such as speed, maneuverability, and view range. We can quickly gain a vantage position and provide passive scouting from the bushes, monitoring the battlefield and choosing the direction of attack. These tanks are rarely used for active scouting due to their massive size and high probability to get critical engine damage or even be set on fire after the tank is hit, even at the frontal part of the armor. The armor is sloped, and therefore the chances for a ricochet are high. However, this is not the feature to rely on. A couple of penetrations and we are back to the garage. In a battle involving a lot of tanks, it is advisable to keep a safe distance and only approach an enemy from the side where you will be able to get away quickly whilst under fire. Facing an enemy tank from the front can be a crucial mistake. Single tanks are our priority targets. Tank destroyers and slow heavy tanks are just tidbits. We often have to attack an enemy from a long distance. The gun accuracy is not the highest possible, but sufficient. For example, at Prohorovka, you can scout an enemy tank from the hill and then move 15 meters away from the bush and shoot back. When playing other scouts, you may decide not to do it because of the time it takes to reload the drum after a couple of shots. Let us now consider tank WZ-131 individually. You can select one of two guns to be mounted. The first gun, 100mm, secures higher alpha damage but is less accurate, fires slower, and takes longer to aim in comparison to the second gun, 85mm, which has lower penetration potential. This disadvantage is compensated by the ability to load heats with good penetration potential. An 85mm gun is undoubtedly more apt for a light tank, as it proves to be more versatile and effective in most situations. The choice depends on your preferences. It's worth noting that the firepower of this tank is higher than the T-71 or AMX-1375, but the dynamic characteristics are on the same level. Unlike its elder brother WZ-132, the WZ-131 is rarely distributed to Tier 10 battles. That is why it is so comfortable to play. WZ-132 looks very much like the previous model. However, there are some differences. The biggest change is in its increased firepower. Here we also have freedom of choice, either a more powerful 100mm gun or a quick-firing and accurate higher damage per minute 85mm one. This is a Tier 8 tank, and therefore it usually faces top-tier tanks. In such battles, a 100mm gun can save your life or bring you an important kill. A quick-firing gun is mainly used at long distances, but a considerable number of well-armored enemies can make the task more difficult, and active movements around the battlefield are very risky. But if you manage to get to an enemy's rears, you will have a higher chance to set it on fire and destroy it quickly. Compared to the AMX-1390, the WZ-132 shows higher damage per minute. However, the French tank has an autoloader. It takes longer to load, but quickly does a lot of damage to the enemy. The Chinese tank will have to shoot continuously, and one does not get such opportunities very often. The game style of these light tanks are completely different, and thus the vehicles are hard to compare. Chinese light tanks can also be used as interceptors of enemy scouts of lower tiers. We advise to destroy them at the beginning of the battle first, before moving on to scouting. We also recommend not facing light tanks armed with autoloaders without all your hit points, as your chances for winning are minimal. To sum up, Chinese light tanks are very different from all other vehicles. They have a mixed light and medium tank battle style, possess a lot of freedom, variety, and possibilities, but require a trained approach and diligence. Success with the WZ-131 and WZ-132 is highly dependent on a player's personal skills, and if you don't have sufficient experience with light tanks, this can be difficult for you. But as long as you understand the specific features of these tanks, they will surely bring you much pleasure. See you soon, and good luck on the battlefield!